I'm going to ask the Niners fans who we want the Raiders to have for a quarterback, and then I'm going to ask the Raiders who they want for a quarterback. And I bet you we get different answers because we're not fans of the other team. So, Brother Bill, I'm going to start with you. Who would you like to see the Raiders get as QB for next season?
Well, since I no longer have any kind of a rooting interest in the Raiders' success or lack of each season, this is going to be a completely unbiased opinion on who I think would be the best fit for the Raiders if they want to make some noise in the AFC West. I think that the quarterback that they have with the right system, they can be successful with and I say that with the right system. You're going to see what happens with our offensive coordinator now. The key for them, I've always said this about the NFL teams, is the ability to run the ball and stop the run. And a quarterback's best friend is a good defense and a running game. And I believe the Raiders have a good running game if they choose to stay balanced. So the quarterback they got, I'm not talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. I think they're going to cut him soon at some point in March. So I can't remember the guy they had last year. I'm drawing a blank.
Skinny
But
fat.
if they do some things, I think with him, then sorry,
Skinny fat. That's what we call him.
O'Connell.
O'Connell. Yeah, yeah. I mean, he showed that, like I said, with the right system, he could be successful. So that would be my recommendation for the Raiders.
It's just keep him.
Correct.
I like that. I like that. So I just so we can keep it all Niners and then Raiders. I think you guys should get Justin Fields. I think that would be entertaining for me to watch as somebody who does have a rooting interest against the Raiders, just so I can talk more mess at church on Sundays. The worse you guys are, the funnier I can be on Sunday. So I'm going for Fields, but Skinny Fat would be a pretty good second choice. Brother James, I'm gonna go with you. I'm assuming you're gonna have very different answers. The quarterbacks that are kind of thrown around is like Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson. You have Sam Darnold is going to probably be out there. You have, I mean, there is the draft also, but you probably would need a bridge guy. So Brother James, who would you like to see as quarterback for your team next season?
Well, as far as with the dollar amount with Kirk Cousins, I wouldn't want to pay what he probably was asking for, but if all worked out, I would take Kirk Cousins for a short-term contract, and also get a quarterback in the draft, one that is a mobile quarterback, not a pocket quarterback. I need somebody who can extend the plays. So we had a 13 pick, so I would probably use that pick for a quarterback. Our defense is going to be all right. So that's probably where I would go with Cousins for like a 2-year deal.
Okay. All right. Deacon Hill, who's your QB next year?
Well, out of Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins, and then you just threw in Justin Fields a little in that conversation. I would take Justin Fields, and then I would take because you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
You just don't know what you're talking about. But and I think I would take Russell Wilson over Kirk Cousins. Russell Wilson is more accomplished. He's accomplished more than Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is always on the cusp of doing something, and then it falls apart in the playoffs. Something always happens. He either gets hurt or something always happens. So I wouldn't. But realistically, I would draft a quarterback. That's what we need. We need a veteran to come in there. So that's why I wouldn't turn my back on a Russell Wilson as a veteran come in for a short term. Just come in there and bring some competition. And then even O'Donnell, he's going to be in the mix also. But you need to move up I would move up in the draft. I would trade something to move up at least 3 or 4 picks to try to get a decent quarterback. Because there's about at least 7 decent quarterbacks that are pretty, the margin is not that great between those quarterbacks. So I think you can get a good quarterback within around the 7th pick or something. So I would move up to that spot and draft a quarterback. And then for a veteran, I'd bring in Russell Wilson. Because Justin Fields ain't going nowhere.
Okay. Well, that would be a very Bears move. He's not going anywhere, which would be funny too. I'll make fun of Pastor about that if that happens. I like the Russell Wilson idea. I mean, I like Russell Wilson to go kind of anywhere. I know he seems to be. Everything I'm hearing is he's linked to Pittsburgh, which I think would kind of make sense. I'm sure for him it would be kind of a drag to get into a defensive kind of minded team again, but the offensive minded team hasn't really worked out that great. I like the idea for Russ because Russ is going to be dirt cheap next year. The Broncos are paying $33 million or whatever. He can come into your team, sign for the league minimum, which he already said he would do if he could come in for a contender. I think it would be pretty enticing for if I'm Russ, being able to throw to Devontae Adams. That's not a terrible thing because Russ can do his little balloon air ball 40 yards downfield, and Devontae's he'll get under it no matter how far he throws it. I think that would definitely be the most economical. He's still pretty easy, 30, 33, 34, so he's still pretty young. I'm sure Ciara would much rather be in Vegas than be in Pittsburgh, even though Pittsburgh's not a bad city, but I mean, okay. So and Fields, he's got a super strong arm and he's super fast and he's not accurate at all. So if you guys end up getting Fields, have a good time with that.